This is NVDA. Here are your price targets for Thursday. We ended the day at 902.50, down 2.5%. The day's low, 891.23. The day's high, 932.40. This is where we are, back to the middle of the trend. And in this case, resistance takes us to 910.03. Above that, at another level of resistance and a potential take profit area, 942.72. 959.18, and at 4 standard deviations and another level of resistance, 975.27. I do not anticipate we hit this line on Thursday, and if we do, I will anticipate a pullback as people take their profits and they run. They will lock in and they will leave. Now, to the south side, at -2 standard deviations and support and a potential buy-in area, 877.32. 861.11 and 844.37. There's a gap that I mentioned on the 14th. This gap right here. I will clean up this chart. Closed out on the 19th. This gap is no longer a threat to our accounts to the south side. Obviously, there are other threats. And this gap is still in play to the downside, unfortunately. That will take us down to 823.02. And we've got another one that will take us down to roughly 777.87. And then this monster one takes us down to 675.89. We are not in the channel, not in the zone, just something to be aware of. But on the 5-minute time frame, as you can see, we are in a downward channel. We have not gone sideways yet to correct. And then hopefully when we correct, if and when we do, we'll see this thing go upward. But we are not there yet. Now for charge point. I got stopped out of this one today. First, I will give you the price targets. Ignore these horizontal lines. Those are previous buy-in lines, and I've sold out of them previously. This is where we ended at $1.90, up 9.20%. The day's low, 174. The day's high, 191. The 1-year price target, by the way, is 322. That's a 69% return from where we are, and it will take a long time to get there. You're going to be whipped around. This stock has tanked in the past, and we're finally starting to creep our way up. To the north side, resistance, 194. Another potential take profit area as well. 198 and roughly 201 to the south side. Oops, back at the middle of the trend and the baseline. And from where we are, this is support on the way down. These lines turn into support on the way up. These lines are resistance. Now, -2 standard deviations takes us to 178, 175, and 170-ish. Looking left, you can see the bounce at support here, sell off at resistance, resistance. This gap that I have been tracking closed out. I bought it right here, and I could have turned around and sold it right here for $1.87, and that would have been a return of, let me take off the magnet. It makes your chart wonky. For an 8% return, basically in one day. But I wasn't paying attention. I didn't set my stop limit. Normally when I buy something, I know when I'm getting out because I've been playing more conservatively lately. But I didn't do it, so I had to wait to get whipped around, and then finally today, I got stopped out because I set a limit, a sell limit, and I got out at, Let me just verify the numbers. 172, I sold out at 188. Yep. I made a return of roughly 9%. So I am out. I will not be a buyer again until we are down here. And if it never gets down to that level, I will trade something else. So this did not touch until today. So how I set my exit level is usually at between 2 and 3 standard deviations, somewhere in the middle. But with gaps, sometimes it will gap and run, or it will just touch or go over by a penny or two. But if I really want out of a stock, I just keep it where the gap closes. That's a safe bet. But in this case, I went 1 penny over. I was vacillating about going to 190, and I didn't want to chance it. But in the end, with our high, you can see that we went to $1.91 right there. So that was my logic. So that is no longer in play to the upside. So now it looks like we're consolidating, but if we hit this line again, I will expect a pullback as people take their profits and they leave. They lock in and they leave. All right. And looking left, I've traded this in the past. I'll take this out to, let's go to the 4 hours so you can see the big picture. Oops. Command Z there. Actually, let me just go to the, it made my chart look wonky. All right, on the 1 hour, let me make this a little bit bigger here so we can check this out. So on the 1 hour, we are here, but to the north side, resistance takes us to 203. Back at the middle of the trend takes us to roughly 179. This gap, as you can see, closed out. I will look at these, and sometimes I don't look at it again for a while. And right now, as I'm looking at it with you, I notice that that needs to be cleaned up. So previously, you can see I bought in here and here, sold out here and here as well. And again, I will not be a buyer until we hit support. So if I'm on the 1 hour, I'll go here or possibly here. And congratulations if you made some money off of Cintas Corporation. Check that out. Note how it went, it shot straight up and fell right back down to 4 standard deviations. So we'll probably grind and then go down a little bit. As you can see, we're going to head up here. This went up on earnings, reported 2.406 billion, estimate 2.39 billion. Word on the street, they liked it apparently, and so the stock ran. Look at that. That's, well, some people call that going to the moon, but it came back down to earth. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at NVDA and ChargePoint. Have a great trading day.